This is the Scale Up Show, bringing you the latest on income, marketing, and entrepreneurship.
Hey, we are live. Artificial intelligence, guys. We've probably been talking about this for like the last 45 minutes. So now we've actually decided to click record and actually talk about it on the pod.
The question is though, are we real? Or is it an AI version of ourselves?
Is this all an illusion?
This whole thing isn't real.
Next podcast will be AI based. Generate.
Yeah, it's crazy how because if I look now at my business, I cannot visualize my business now without ChatGPT. I use it so much on a daily basis. It's crazy. I'm almost thinking, like, how did I survive without AI?
It takes so big time saver for me.
Yeah,
for my agency, one of my VAs is working hours a week just creating a content schedule for a month.
Yeah.
We have customers all worldwide, so we have for Australia different events on Europe and US, of course, and it takes so much time to do a double check if this is true, because of course you can Google for a content calendar, but we found out for years all what you find online are mistakes in.
Yeah.
Most dates are not correct, or there's so many mistakes. So we 5-6 years ago we trusted on what we found online. We made some big mistakes from that, so we could decide, okay, now we make them by ourselves. But now we just ask ChatGPT, give us the 10. This is really the question I start with. That's maybe also good to know. It's so easy to use. So what I really type in is just give me 10 events for June.
Yeah.
In Australia. And 3 seconds later,
you got it.
You have, and we always do fact checking. We always Google them because we want to 100% sure before we send that to our customers. But that's how we create it now, and it's not only a time saver for us, but also for our customer, because now we don't have to spend hours and waste a lot of money on just finding it for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is like, not only from like high level business perspective, but I think it's like you should look at the tool as in it's an assistant. So what are tasks, for example, that take up a lot of time, which ultimately are just to gather information, because you could completely take that away and just put it in the hands of a ChatGPT, for example.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for example, ad copy. You know, you could do hours of research. You can go to the ad library. You can look what other people are doing, but you can also just take the link of the site or the name of the product and just ask, hey, with these 2 events, this is how the customer look like. Give me 3 ad prompts. Give me 3 headlines.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 times, they are going to be your highest performing copy anyway.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Because my best performing copy for several clients is the ChatGPT copy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's as well as like, then there, of course, it comes to, you need to teach the AI, of course, to give the prompt how you want. If you just say, okay, give me ad copy for denim, it's not going to work.
It's too broad.
If you give an exact profile, this is the customer, this is the age, this is what they shop, whatever. The more detailed you can get, the better the prompt is going to be.
Yeah, and that's why I do not fear sort of us becoming obsolete because of AI. Exactly. Because it's about our prompts. It's about what we fill in to get that answer. But I think copy, like, if you're a copywriter now, that's when I will be worried. Because I think ChatGPT is basically now, so we do not have a copywriter. I do not have a VA that does this. I do not do this myself. I just let ChatGPT write out all the copy for my clients. But again, based on the prompts, because obviously our prompts are based on our onboarding process, where we ask our clients, like you said, customer avatar, what kind of literally what kind of customers purchases from this product or from from the store. We fill that in ChatGPT, and then we get the copy variations.
Yeah, and I think that's like, I think the key, like who wants to get into this, or if you're ready to kind of use ChatGPT in your business, always keep that in the back of your mind. Like, don't go in and just ask the random questions, because it's not really going to get you there.
The more specific, the better.
Be as specific as you can. Give and train your AI, if you like to call it, as much as possible, because then it's going to give you over time better and better.
Yes, and it's good to know that don't use it like Google. Years ago, Google, you maybe type in 1 or 2 words or maybe a sentence with a question, and you most people do that. I think I did it myself. Was you try to think like Google, so you want to ask more computerized question, or how you want to call it, to hope that you get the best result. But in ChatGPT, you just ask in natural language, your question. Just I also said, of course, also my team, I teach them, just ask the question you asked me on WhatsApp, for example. Just copy paste that same question
put it into
in ChatGPT and see what happened.
And ultimately, it's like ChatGPT as well isn't biased. Okay, what I mean with this is like what you quite often see. You think the ironic example is like, you know, your girlfriend has, I don't know, their feet are hurting or their chest is hurting, so they go to Google. Oh, help! My upper right shoulder is hurting, and before you know it, 10 hours later, they think they're gonna die tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know, because
exactly.
that's just the disease with the highest SEO score is going to be at the top.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what Google is nowadays. You know, it's not like that's really what you should be reading now. It's just the person with the highest SEO is being there. Whereas with ChatGPT, you really get the answer you're
that's a
looking
good point,
for.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can ask more complex questions. For example, I just told it before we started this podcast, but my charging subscription from BMW was free in the first year, and now I need to pay for my car. But I was thinking, okay, when it makes sense, what is the break-even point for paying the subscription? There are two levels, around €5 a month and 15 euros a month, something like that. And I was thinking, what is the break-even point before it is cheaper to pay the subscription and get a discount on your charging price, or don't do it? So I was thinking, okay, of course I can do it in Excel or I calculate by hand. It costs a lot of time. So just what I did in ChatGPT, just ask them, okay, give me the break-even point for and I give them the prices, so €5 a month, 15 euros a month. And within 10 seconds, they give me a complete explanation with all the formulas explained in the actual math, but also explained in just in English. And it says, okay, you calculate this like this, blah, 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 and this is the result. For me, it sounds it was from 88 kilowatts, it was cheaper to get the subscription than so it was so easy for me to make that decision. I also now use it for searching lowest price. If you have the latest version of ChatGPT, you can have real-time internet. Yeah. It's also, if you're now Google Shopping, it's always paid, of course. So it is not all results on the internet. But if you use ChatGPT, the latest version of ChatGPT, you get the complete internet, and you can find the lowest price for a specific product.
It's funny you say. I did that this morning because I wanted to buy a shirt, and I just for fun I just put on ChatGPT, what is an active discount code for this store? I put it in ChatGPT and boom, I got 2 discount codes and I got 25% off.
As a game changer,
what
I'm
it
going to try
does,
that.
it checks the back end of Shopify, and quite often people forget to turn off old codes. And ChatGPT is smart enough to go to the back end to find that, where we could never find that. It's crazy if you think about it.
Have you ever used it for Shopify coding?
So if we, for example, need, let's say, I want to change, let's say, the add to cart button. I want to add codes. I just legit can go into ChatGPT, tell them what I need to do, code. And it will give me the exact liquid code. I can just copy and paste into Shopify, and boom, it's done.
It even tells you where to paste the code.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah. So one of our clients, they had a theme where you could not, for some reason, so there was no sticky cart option on the theme, but for some reason we couldn't actually download the Ultimate Sticky Cart Draw app or whatever it's called. So then I put it in ChatGPT. I said, okay, write the specific code for a sticky cart button on mobile, and then like add colors, etc. And it gave me the exact code and where to post it in the liquid file. And of course, with the agency, we have like a web developer on sort of, on demand through Upwork that we can ask, specific coding questions to. And I asked to him, I said, is this correct? And is this where you need to place it? And he basically said, yeah, that's exactly what I what I do and what I offer as a service.
I mean, it's like it's a complete mindset shift. Like if you're on a call now, for example, it's like we had it last week where someone was on some weird custom build website, and then for me, I always start to I don't know if I want to touch this. And they did not have the conversion API. And previously, I would always just run away. But I thought, it's okay, let me just go into ChatGPT, just ask like, hey, how do I install the conversion API using Google Tag Manager for this? And boom, the whole prompt came out. I just went to Upwork. Upwork, just went to a developer, gave him everything. One day later, solved.
Yeah, man.
API installed. And
then speaking of being on calls, have you guys seen nowadays on Zoom, you have like otters and what's the other one? The Firefly or something like that? Which basically AI for people that want notes taken on the call. It's absolutely crazy.
Just a note take. Every word you say.
A little bit back to the coding thing. I want a calculator on my website, on my agency website, so people can calculate the revenue with our investment. But what was so funny was I asked them to fill in the calculator, and but I also created a few days before, already create some proposals for my clients using ChatGPT because creating all the content, all the text was easier for me. I just want to try it. But the funny part was that it remembered my pricing from my previous prompts from a few days ago with the pricing, and they created a calculator, and I copy pasted in my development website. I was a little bit shocked. Why is pricing filled in? I never told the pricing. I was looking back. Oh, you remember that from a few days ago.
Yeah.
So that is it's so smart, and getting smarter and smarter.
Well, here's one for you. So, Ewan, you and I have a shared client in the Scandinavian countries, right? And I was using ChatGPT for copy. And basically what I was doing, I was looking at the best performing copy for other countries, and then I basically said, translate this to Norwegian. But I must have said, translate all forthcoming translation questions to Norwegian. So now if I ask anything that has to do with translation, the default is Norwegian. And I have no idea how to turn it off either. So the default answer is always Norwegian.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, it does remember the previous questions and previous prompts. It remembers. It's crazy.
Yes, and about translation, we have also customers in Europe with all the different language we have here, of course, and it works so good. And one of my clients just said, okay, we offer 2 packages. We say, okay, we can hire a professional translator, and it costs you X amount per word. Or we can do it 100% on ChatGPT. We do that for the same price as we normally ask. But if there's a mistake, okay,
just need to accept it. Yeah.
Don't blame us.
To be fair, it's good though. Like translations from like a lot of people, of course, they would go to Google Translate, which is pretty bad. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's
like
super bad.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
But if you do it in ChatGPT, it's like even from a grammar perspective, it's very, very strong. Like I rarely very technical grammar things. Like I know like the Dutch language is hard for a lot of people with the the D's and the T's.
Yeah.
Same with like German, with der, die, das. It's really good. Like it's on the ball.
Yes, and if you
all the
combine it, this is maybe I don't need to tell this. It's a good secret. But if you
we're going to turn off the sound now.
Yes. Okay, this is a good one. But if you are using ChatGPT and you take the plus premium whatever version it's called, but it's $20 a month, and you're also willing to invest $50 a month for Jasper.ai. Jasper.ai is much better in language and grammar. So if you generate your creative content in ChatGPT, copy paste it in Jasper, and give some prompts in Jasper, like what the audience is, for example.
Yeah.
You get the perfect language.
I think that's the future as well, because like you want to I think right now everyone is using ChatGPT, but the real power is comboing it.
Yeah.
So taking ChatGPT as like the first step to get the kind of like the base in, then going to the next step where you build the core, and then you're going to put it out there. I think that's definitely the future.
I think that's probably the next step, right? Like I think now you also have the AI combination with Zapier, so you can basically let ChatGPT generate specific answers, specific prompts, and then with Zapier combine that and spread that across various other platforms. I think that's obviously where we're now heading to. It's crazy to see how fast it's come.
Yeah.
Yes, you already mentioned, Joshua, that a lot of the question I also get a lot from friends of mine and also from clients. This will cost a lot of jobs, but I think it's a new market.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a new market.
It's going to cost, but it's going to generate.
I sometimes make the comparison, and maybe it sounds a bit weird, with Microsoft Excel. I'm always surprised how maybe I have the feeling that no one knows how Microsoft Excel is working. They can maybe fill in some cells, but not do real calculations. And I'm always surprised when I have new members in my team. They don't know how to use it. Not at all. And I also expect the same for this kind of software. It's now a hype. It's now a lot in the media, and some people will understand it. But the majority of the people never understand how you really get advantage from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I think it's super important to maybe take a course or whatever, or take some time and learn it yourself, because it saves so much money.
100%.
But most people have also some bias about maybe it's not good, or maybe it's I don't trust it. But yeah, okay, it's good to know they save everything. So if you fill something in ChatGPT, remember that they will save everything. And if it leaked out somewhere, whatever, yes, and you use personal information, that's maybe not the best to do. We never do that. We never use personal information in ChatGPT. But I think it's the most powerful tool you need to learn these days.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
100%.
from both ways, I think it's like, what was in the news, I think like it was last week, where someone basically using ChatGPT made it seem like a bomb went off in the Pentagon, and the SP 500 it actually dropped.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Like the SP 500 took a crazy nosedive because news started to pick up, but it was all fake. It was all AI generated.
That's scary almost.
It's crazy to think about. You know, it's like it makes you wonder if that's happening right now, because people always say it's like what we have access to. Governments have like the version 10 years beyond. So it really makes you wonder, like, damn, what's out there already?
Yeah. Have you guys seen the pizza?
And that's maybe. Oh, sorry.
The pizza commercial that's generated by AI.
No.
You'll have to. I'll send you it after this. It's crazy. So basically, the whole advertisement is created by artificial intelligence. So the people in the commercial are not real. The whole brand is not real. Everything is just AI generated. Obviously, there are a few glitches, like some of the eyes don't add up correctly and stuff like that. But it's crazy how professional it looks.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's also what a large fashion brand was trying to replace their models with AI generated models, because they always have the perfect fit. Yeah, it sounds great, but it's of course it's cheaper, right? And what you also see now, and a lot of smaller e-com businesses do that. They just use stock images and replace the text on a t-shirt, for example.
I think we just have to see like if the market accepts it or not. Because I read this morning, for example, Target on Monday they introduced a whole LTGB plus collection, which of course is an amazing thing that they're doing, but their stock plummeted. So basically the market said to them like, no, we don't want this.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is like, it's just waiting until a big fashion house really comes forward and makes this AI switch. And then we're going to see, hey, does the market accept this or not? And I think that's going to be the biggest question, if this is a trend that we're going to see going forward or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and it's also good to know, of course, and maybe most listeners know, but maybe not everyone. AI is not only ChatGPT, of course.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
What you see now in the media is that, oh, it's ChatGPT this, that, but it's so much more, and it's not it didn't start on November last year. It's all there on your iPhone, for example, has all for years an AI processor in it to make your photos better. And just that an iPhone can make, and maybe Android phones too. I don't know. I never used that.
Shots fired!
Shots fired here. Eh? If you listen to this on the Android phone, stop now. Go away now.
Because they can make pictures in almost dark scenes, but it's just because they have AI processing. So they know, okay, this picture needs to be like this, and they generate it on the fly.
Yeah.
And that's also AI. It's a lot more than just text processing.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing what you just to take away, kind of what the chat we're having now, make sure you, at least for ChatGPT, like go in there and get yourself acquainted with it. Just play around with it.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes easier. And definitely make sure you sign up to Immersify. We'll have a whole prompt there on like just things how we use it on a daily basis. And always, if you find new tips or tricks, it's going to be shared there. We'll have the link down below.
Yeah.
And again, anything else that we want to add?
I think maybe before we wrap up, maybe give the listeners like one AI software or tool that you guys recommend alongside ChatGPT.
Yeah, for me it's a Jasper, because it's for the language. It's amazing. So I try to post more on social media, and I use ChatGPT to come with the creative ID. That's what we're also using it for in our agency, just to get. I told my team also it's a brain block or writer's block. That's the right word. Doesn't exist anymore.
No, true.
It sounds maybe hard to say this, but if you have writer's block, just open ChatGPT and type something.
Yeah,
just hit
going.
a few words and hit enter, see what's happening, and go on. And if you use that with great software like Jasper.ai to make it a better language, better English, better Dutch, better German, whatever, then you have a really powerful tool for copywriting.
Yeah, I think I've got two that I'm using quite a lot at the moment. Rev.com, I think is the one. I think you actually showed me it.
For transcribing.
Yeah, for transcribing
audio
content.
files, video files.
Yeah, but it's so quick, and it basically gives the two options, like you just said. One is where there's a manual transcription where someone actually goes in and types out what has been said. And then the second one, which is the much cheaper one, is literally like 25 cents a minute, something like that, is the AI one. And I've always used the AI version, and it's always been 100% accurate, even with my accent. So it's crazy. And then the second one is Adobe Mic Enhancer. Basically, it will enhance the vocals of the audio. So it basically sounds like it's being recorded by a professional mic, when in reality it's just my iPhone.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes.
To quote for me, it's fireflies. mean, it's basically
The note taker.
every Zoom
Yeah.
call I go in, there's a Fireflies who basically after the call is done, it will send me an email
Transcribes
and it
everything.
will transcribe by speaker name everything they said, and
Yeah.
then it will also, with the pro
Yeah.
version I have now, it will indicate the tone. And then based on that, it will give me recommendations and say, okay, next time you should have said this instead of this, because then it will be
Really?
more
Wow,
positive.
that's crazy.
And it's so
Oh,
interesting.
I didn't know that. I will start using that today. I used it in the past. Is it free or
No, it's a paid version, but I recommend it to get it because it's like, for me, it enhances my vocabulary because
Yeah.
you really start to see, damn, okay, that's pretty interesting. If I would have
if I
said,
would've said
this
this.
and this, then this
Yeah.
would be the response, and,
Yeah.
and it actually measures. So, for example, what I do with Brandon, my business partner, is like we can actually see on sales calls, like the response to certain questions. It
Yeah.
allows us to really fine tune, so you know exactly what you should reflect to things.
Do you need to be
Yeah.
actively on the call for Fireflies?
I mean, you of course need to be present there, but
Okay.
basically it records every single letter, every single voice
Yeah.
that's mentioned, and it will then say who the speaker is. And then based on
That's crazy,
how
man.
they say it,
Yeah.
it will, for example, they will, let's say if we ask them the question like, hey, are you ready to sign now?
Yeah.
And they say, oh yeah, let's start tomorrow. Then Fireflies will say, okay, there was a 20% confidence that they were being realistic.
Yeah.
Or there was a 50% confidence,
crazy.
100%.
Oh wow,
confidence.
that's
Yeah.
great.
It's
I know
pretty
with
sick.
Good one.
so
I
with
didn't know that.
Otter, you don't actually need to be present. So what I've been on quite a few calls nowadays with larger agencies that then white label media buying to me. I'll be on like a team call and there'll be like 8 otters in the room and then only like 4 actual people. And I asked like, okay, so these otters, you know, are these people present or what is this? And they were like, no. So these people could not make it on the call, but they want a transcription. So like basically we're saying with Fireflies, it just sends the transcription of the call to email, but then that person does not actually have to be present.
I mean, that's also, of course, next level, because then
No
the
more
whole,
meetings, guys.
No,
No
no
more
meetings,
meetings.
man.
Yeah.
The end of the meeting area.
Just let
Goodbye
Arthur do
to
it.
Zoom.
Yes, and I want to add something else as a great tool. If you are maybe hesitate to start up ChatGPT, whatever, or you don't know what to use, you also can use Canva to create some visuals. Maybe you're already using it, but they have also some AI tools and plugins now, and it's quite amazing what it can do. It can create presentations for you. It can do almost anything on visual.
Yeah, because technically the background remover is AI as well, right?
Yeah, it's AI. Yes, the
Yeah.
background remover is already AI, but also create an image, and you just type in what you need, and it generates the image on the fly. That's quite amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary
then,
stuff.
I think that's probably everything we can talk about there.
Yeah, but what Aaron said, subscribe to immersify.com, and we maybe will do some in-depth course on this later
Some
on.
prompts. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, cool.
Definitely. So make sure, we've never said it before, but I'm going to do it now. Make sure you like, subscribe. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, because we got a lot more podcasts coming, and of course.
And very important is if you're listening on your podcast app, make a screenshot and tag us in it on
exactly. That's a
Instagram,
good
for
one.
example. Make a story of it. We really like it.
Yeah.
And if you have questions, please let us know in the comments.